Well, at the age of 39, Gary Hall Jr. has enjoyed a wonderful career in harness racing. He's got a list of credits as long as the Menangle Straight. I caught up with Gary Hall during his commitment to Club Menangle tonight to talk about just some of his career highlights, including sitting behind the three-time Inter-Dominion winner, I'm the Mighty Quinn. Well, Gary, great to catch up with you on the east coast of Australia. A little bit cooler on this side than WA.
Yeah, certainly. It's getting cold back home, but yeah, it's a little different here, but good all the same.
Gary, as I mentioned in the introduction, you've had a stellar career to date and you're still only 39, so a lot more to come. But sitting behind a horse like I'm the Mighty Quinn, how can you describe it as far as us grandstand drivers are concerned when you've got the box seat?
It's pretty hard to put in words, really. He was, he captured a lot of people with his speed, obviously, and it didn't matter how many times you drove him or in what situation. When you let him down, it still took your breath away every time. So, by far the best and fastest horse that I've ever driven and probably will ever drive, no doubt. So, it was, I always said that every driver who was, most of us are all really passionate about the game, but every driver deserved, to have a sit behind him at least once, because it was, it was quite a thrill, and it was like driving a car, really. He drove gun barrel straight, and he had that snap instant acceleration, which was always on show.
What was he like away from the racetrack?
Pretty good. He kept to himself. He didn't really like a lot of attention. He didn't, anyone that worked with him, stable hands, farriers, vets, anything like that, always said that he was a pure gentleman to work with. He was smart. Most of the good horses are. You didn't have to touch his legs for him to pick him up, things like that. He was a really intelligent horse, and I found a lot of the good ones to be like that. So, he was. It's like he'd been here 100 times before.
111 starts, 58 wins, 34 placings, including in that marvellous record, numerous cups. But 2011, his first into Dominion New Zealand. A year later, back to your home track, Gloucester Park, and then back here in 2013, winning the Inter Dominion once again, 3 on end. Gary, is there one particular Inter Dominion that still makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up?
Probably here. Home was great. It was the way he won it the year before in New Zealand was bittersweet. So to go home and do it in front of the home crowd, and it was a great crowd that night, and that was pretty special. And then obviously a WA horse winning the Inters in their backyard, it sort of he probably didn't get the accolades he might have deserved at that stage, and he certainly did when we came here, and he still had I think he still had a few knockers prior to the 2013 win here at Menangle, but he certainly silenced them on that day, and I had a few people come up to me after the race and just actually say to me that they were knockers of his in the past, and they wanted to apologise after what they just witnessed, which it's what he did. You couldn't help but love the horse, whether you're involved with him or not. He was the people's horse back home, and we need horses like that. They bring people to the trots.
Yeah, that's a beautiful point there, Gary. We do need the personalities as far as trainers and drivers are concerned, but it's the horses that capture the imagination.
It is. Most people, I don't know too many people that don't or dislike horses. They're a beautiful animal, and he was certainly one that just captured people's imagination, and just that speed that he showed and the way he could round the whole field up from impossible positions, not something you often see. So it was great to come here and showcase his talent.
Gary, you always had a passion for harness racing, naturally following in Dad's footsteps, Gary Sr. As a 14-year-old, you gained your stable licence as stable hand. They changed the rule at that particular year, and you were the first and the youngest to receive one.
I'd sort of forgotten about that until you mentioned it earlier, and then also there was an article somewhere about it, and I wanted to leave school. I didn't sort of like school much, like most of us, we got the stable hand age lowered at that point to sort of start my way. Weren't allowed to drive in races till you were 16, but it was always good to get involved with the horses down the back, and you can't just turn 16 and just get out there. So you have to have some sort of backing behind you. And Mum and Dad were good. And, they could obviously see the passion, and wasn't any point fighting it, I guess.
And Gary, your great career commenced as a 16-year-old, your first drive, and Hanser greeting the judge.
Yeah, it was a shocker too. It was he wasn't any superstar, but he raced wide for the first lap at Pinjarra. It's just 1,000 metres track at home, and it's a pretty testing track on any day. And he did a lot of work, and he actually come back to salute the judge and had a trickle of blood out of one nostril too. So nothing went right for him. The drive was ordinary as well, and he got the money. So. Someone was definitely on my side. I'm not sure. Haven't worked that one out yet.
Well, the horse certainly was well named, and Hanser, because you've done nothing but enhance your career ever since. Over 3,300 winners at the moment. That total could be a lot higher. But it's the record-breaking one that you share with your dad as far as a trainer, driver concerned, father and son, which is over 1,500. That total could be a lot more too.
Yeah, it's, obviously Dad's been my biggest supporter. And my biggest critic in the game, but he's always obviously stuck by me, and we have our tiffs like any partnership, but I no doubt I wouldn't be where I am today without him. He's taught me all I know, as he tells everyone all the time. So, but yeah, I think he obviously gets a good buzz out of seeing me win races. Obviously, always wanted to do it and to follow sort of his footsteps. And I'm not dead keen on the training side of it. I just, I think you got to stick to one thing and try and hone your skills at one thing at a time. And take my hat off to people that train and drive and do it both very well. It's it may look easy at times, but it's not. It can be a hard game, and you can beat yourself up as a trainer and a driver, and combining the two it gets really difficult. So I guess there'll be a time and a place when it comes to it that I have to take over, but I'm not in any rush for that to happen.
Still very young at this particular stage. How many horses do you have under the care?
We got 37 there at the moment, which is a pretty high number for us. Yeah, we usually sort of float between 20 to 30. At 30's getting up a bit high, and Dad's still very much hands on. He's often there, there first and last to leave, and I did get a few things off him, but I didn't quite pick up the work ethic. I don't think he's like a lot of those old trainers. He's happy to go all day, but I need my downtime.
Gary, harness racing in WA continues to prosper.
It does, yeah. We're going pretty good. It's competitive. The racing's good. I think the half-mile track at Gloucester Park provides excitement. It's it's a completely different style to here, and people on course still like to get around it. I see now, like with the big influence of social media and things like that, there's a lot of good positive comments made about the racing over in WA, and that's always pleasing.
No doubt the horse stable will be looking out for a horse suitable for the Eureka. How did that announcement been received in WA?
Yeah, I'd certainly sort of grabbed my attention, that's for sure, and anything like that, and you throw that sort of money around and you start sort of going through your head about the potential in the barn. But seniors are probably not too keen to travel too much anymore. But I'm sure if we had the right horse, we'd definitely have a look at trying to get a slot. And it's exciting times. I think there is a little bit of negativity out there about throwing big money at one race and not spreading it around. But people like seeing the best. I think if you come to the track, you want to see you want to say you went and saw the best racing in Australia at the time. The Gallops prove that. People want to say that. They want to say they went and saw Winks race, or back to Mackay Diva days and things like that. Horses grab people. Like you say, you can have personalities, trainers, drivers, but the horses are what people want to see. And if you can drive down the road and see the best, well, that's what you're going to do.
Gary, one horse we should mention in your illustrious career, the Falcon Strike.
Yeah, bless him. My mate, he put me on the map, basically. He was so tough, and just a completely different horse to like the Mighty Quinn. He was a horse that he pulled me out of trouble a lot of times, and I'm sure there was plenty of times he won races where I could have driven him a lot better, but he had this unbelievable will to win, and yeah, he'll be forever in my memory.
Recently we've seen a star WA jockey, William Pike, come over to the East Coast, and he's going great guns as per usual. He's just such a talent. Was there any thoughts in your career to make the move over to the East and try your hand here?
Not so much with what we got going on at home. Sort of, when you're on a good thing, they say stick to it. So I have toyed with the idea of maybe going to the States and just having a crack. Just a completely different style again, and I wouldn't mind just going over there and yeah, just going around in a few races and seeing. And I've obviously been offered a few times with blokes that have come over here. Tim Tetrick come to WA and drove 3A into Dominion Carnival there one time, and you know, he was more than helpful and said anytime you wanted to come over, and you know, he'd help you out and things like that. So I have thought about that, and you know, I know a lot of guys from here are now going over there and doing us proud. So yeah, I've thought about that, but I don't know whether that bird's flown or not. Yeah, time will tell.
Gary, at the tender age of 36, you received an amazing recognition of your career, which has still got a long way to go, when you were named in the WA Racing Hall of Fame. What a wonderful achievement for someone who's so young.
Yeah, it was a strange feeling when they made the announcement, and I was blown away a little bit. As you say, at that age, I'd gone there knowing I was nominated, but wasn't really expecting to get inducted. And yeah, I guess it's you know, you never come into the game thinking I want to make the Hall of Fame one day, but yeah, it's a pretty nice feeling when they announced it. And yeah, I got the horses and obviously Dad to thank for that again. You're only as good as the horses you're driving, and yeah, I've been lucky enough to get behind some pretty good ones. So yeah, it was a very humbling experience.
Well, you've certainly got to have the ability to get him across the line, and Gary, you've certainly got plenty of ability. A wonderful career today. Thanks for joining us, and no doubt there's still plenty of great stories to come.
No worries, it's my pleasure. Thank you.